Hi, this is Maria Mandarino, and thank you for being here. Um, Tonight, I'm going to continue the series on the Enneagram and Parenting. Unfortunately, tonight, my friend Julie Jacobs of Windhorse Counseling cannot be here. She's actually going to miss the next two sessions. She's going to catch up with us a couple of weeks. We'll be continuing together with Enneagram 9 going forward. Julie lost her voice today at work, so I am doing this solo tonight. And our hope is, and if you lead with any of the 9 types, really, if you would like to be featured, especially on an upcoming um, episode, our hope is to interview people, who have the types that we're focusing on, because really, I can give you the information, Julie can give you the insights as a counselor, the tips that can kind of support you as a parent, understanding your Enneagram type. But the real, um, what brings the Enneagram to life is the narrative style, which is the style that I was trained in, where we're interviewing people who actually are those types. So we've done 2, 4, and tonight we're going to be doing 3. If you would like to participate in something like that with me and Julie on a Zoom call for an upcoming episode, please reach out, because that's really what our hope is. So just know that that's something that we're open to. I also have opened a Ko-fi account. If you would like to support the channel, you can do so through that. That link will be in the show notes. Of course, I do this work independently with people, one-on-one, online. We can do typing interviews for the Enneagram. If you don't know your type, or you suspect you know your type and you're not too sure, I do that work. And I also do spiritual direction work, either with or without the Enneagram. Most of the people that I work with in spiritual direction do know the Enneagram. So all of that information, again, will be in the show notes. And if you have watched any of the other episodes, I'll also have Julie's information in there if you want to work with Julie as well, okay, at Windhorse Counseling. So the inspiration for this series on the Enneagram and Parenting came out of my work as an acupuncturist, because among the things that I do fertility work, fertility support with acupuncture. And there's so much emotionality, especially around the subject of fertility, and it doesn't end there, right? So when baby comes, there's a whole new dynamic, right? And it kind of occurred to me that knowing your Enneagram type, especially in the fertility phase of things, and then as a parent, um, is a tremendous advantage. I think most people in hindsight wish that they had, or that they wish that their parents had, that could have made things very different in relationships. So that's the inspiration behind this. Julie and I have talked about how parenting does not come with an instruction manual. It's one of the most important, jobs out there, and there's no instruction manual. But the Enneagram certainly can give you a map, a way of seeing where, based on your behaviors, where you're stressed out as a parent, where you can redirect things, where you can get your needs met as you're also meeting the needs of your child, right? Because that's a large part of your role as a parent, right? But you also have your own needs, and the Enneagram can really get you to know what those are, so that you don't spend your energy and your stress point on the Enneagram. So tonight we're going to take a look at Enneagram Type 3, the performer. It's in the heart center. The performer is also called the achiever. We have different names depending on basically who you studied with. So type 3s, they seek, in terms of their needs, they seek to be validated. They seek to be validated for what they do, especially for their achievements. Achievements matter to the 3 a great deal. They seek recognition. Winning is a very big thing for them, succeeding, success. We don't call it winning, if that doesn't resonate with you, the word success may, if you're a 3. Threes are also focused on the next project because they're concerned about doing and succeeding and succeeding at the next step. So that's something that you'll see threes rather focusing on the next thing, the next project, the next goal. They tend to be concerned about appearance and status, because that can be used as a marker of success. Okay. They're also called the chameleon in their unhealthy state. And I just want to mention this because it does come up in different episodes. There are certain words that I'll use that pretty much are there, like chameleon, to underscore the lower expression of type. Because frankly, when people come to me, they're typically not coming to me in their higher state wanting to do work. You don't need to if you're there, right? When the people are struggling, that's typically, these are the behaviors. So when I use words like chameleon, and there's going to be some other phrases that I use about the lower side of type 3, I am not saying that 3s are those things, but I am saying unhealthy 3s will present in a certain way. Okay, so the words that push our buttons are the things we need to look at. Okay, so if it doesn't resonate with you, if some of these words don't resonate with you and they kind of feel like a punch, there's something there. Okay, so just be aware of that. Okay, so I'm not painting with a broad brush, but I am pretty much putting the spotlight on the unhealthy behavior, and I use the healthier presentation of type as this is where we need to go. But if you're probably in this state where you're watching a video like this, there's probably some unhealthy stuff going on. So that's where I hope to get, I don't mean to say get your attention, but that's usually where people are going to notice and say, hey, this is my issue. I need to work on these things. So try not to take on certain words that may be uncomfortable for you. Try not to put too much energy into those. Okay, see them as an opportunity maybe, and to kind of do some excavation either with me or someone else who does the Enneagram. Okay, so type 3 in their high side. I just feel like that's where I usually go the other way with this, but let's start with the high side on type 3. Highly capable leaders. Okay, enthusiastic. If you've got a type 3 behind you, they're cheering you on. So that whole winning thing with a type 3, they want to win. Usually we'll say win at all costs. That's the unhealthy 3. A healthy 3 wants to cheer you on and wants you to win because they love it when other people succeed. And that's more of a healthy expression of the 3. They're action driven. They're not the people that are going to be sitting around. They're action oriented. They provide for their loved ones. They love to take care of their loved ones. They adapt well. Kind of a different face of the chameleon, right? So the chameleon's kind of like figuring out, like, how am I gonna fit into this? How am I gonna kind of, shape shift into whatever I need to make this work? The difference is when you're functioning at a higher level, it's more about adaptability, in a positive light. How do I grow and adapt to a situation, not figure out how I can maybe manipulate the situation to fit in. Okay, so adaptation. 3s, again, heart types, so compassionate people in their healthy expression. In their healthy expression, they have a healthy self-esteem as well. And as I mentioned before, they cheer people on. They really, they just celebrate your goals with you. And it's a really nice feeling when you've had that behind you. In the lower expression, and this is where I want to kind of focus on the parenting piece in particular. 3s present as vain and image conscious. So how might that present? The best home on the block, the best schools for the kids, the best cars, So image, right? Um, the best, keeping up with the Joneses, being better than the Joneses, because everything is a competition at that level. Um, Failure is not an option. Okay, so if you're a parent, failure goes with the territory, right? I mean, we all screw up. So no matter what it is that we do in life, right? But a 3 is not going to be open to that possibility, as far as not being the best parent. They have to be the best parent because those who succeed are the best. And what's happening here, and I'm going to go through a little bit of a list, but what stands to happen here is the child gets lost in your quest to be the best parent. The child becomes incidental to your role as a parent if you're an unhealthy 3. Okay. Self-deceit plays center stage with 3s. While they're deceiving others into thinking they're something who they're likely not in an unhealthy state, they're deceiving themselves along with everyone else, including the kids. They are unaware of feelings, and that means theirs as well as yours. So in this case, it would be the family unit, right? Spouses, partners, kids, extended family, possibly. Feelings don't matter. And when I say that, it sounds bizarre to say that because 3s are heart types, right? But when you're deceiving everyone and yourself, you're not paying attention to feelings, right? And what do kids want and need probably more than anything else? Parents who know how to feel. Parents who are present to reality and not hung up in this deceitful image of what they think they have to be the best parent. This can translate to your loved ones feeling ignored. And 3s are so caught up in performing that they have no idea that they're actually ignoring everyone because they think this being the best is what everybody else wants. They think that it's the only way they can be loved. So that's why they get hung up on performing and overachieving and being the best and being successful. And if I do all these things, I will be loved by my partner, by my children. And what happens is with each thing that you seek to achieve, you push them further and further away. We talk about 3s being human doings. And that's because they think that whatever they're doing, if they're the best at it, that's what's going to get them love and recognition, and in terms of how their needs are going to get met. And what 3s need to wake up to is the fact that they are simply loved for being who they are and not what they do. Okay. 3s take on jobs. They take on roles in particularly. Parenthood can be a real trap for an unhealthy 3. Okay. They have that show off energy. They can be ruthless competitors. Again, that gets back to 3s like to win at all costs. So in its really unhealthy presentation, this can be the parent that says, let's go play, a game of football, touch football or whatever. And you set out to win at all costs against your own kid. And I know there's a whole line out there about parents that allow kids to win and getting prizes from win. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the parent who gets so competitive that the competition extends to the child, between parent and child. So if you're really falling into an unhealthy state for some reason, that's something that you want to pay close attention to and how that is going to affect your child. Unhealthy 3s, the deal is goals over people. Meeting the goal, whatever it takes, win at all costs, right? So the goal, and who cares about the people? Yeah, if I just beat my kid at whatever game we just played. He'll get over it. She'll get over it. That's super unhealthy 3 behavior. Threes can also appear, and again, this kind of seems contradictory. They can appear, an unhealthy 3 can appear insincere. And when you think of heart types, it's one of the few, it's one of the things you think they're not, right? But an unhealthy 3 can appear insincere because they're caught up in the win, they're caught up in the success, and they're not really listening to a thing that anybody else is saying or bringing to the experience because their concept is entirely wrapped up around, I should say, the goal. That's just where their energy is focused. So there can be this goals over people type thing. Threes don't rest well, and that's wanting to go on to the next thing, being project oriented. That can be healthy if you have it in balance, right? When it's not in balance, they're unable to rest. They really literally, you sit them down in a chair and they can't. They've got to do something. They've got to do the next thing. So there's a restlessness to them. A lot of them can't sleep. A lot of them have problems with insomnia. I believe I mentioned fake it till you make it is a pretty common attitude in an unhealthy 3. When you're a parent, that can extend to your kids. You can be teaching your child that's good enough. Throw it against the wall, see if it sticks, right? So be aware of the value system that you're setting your kids up for. That's one. And the other thing is, and this gets back to the deceit, kids, I would say kids and animals, no, right? Adults, we're kind of all caught up in our own thing, whatever a thing is, right? We've all got 9 types, but kids are forming their Enneagram. They're not there yet. Their Enneagram is forming. And kids know when you're not being forthright, when you're not putting all of yourself, putting yourself forward without a mask, because 3s walk around with the mask when they're unhealthy. And while the rest of the world may fall for your mask, your kids won't. They will see it, and they may not be able to say it in words like I just did, but they know it. So if you're doing the fake it till you make it thing and you're doing this with your kid, most likely you're not fooling them. There is a song from when I was probably in high school called Cats in the Cradle. Harry Cheapin. If you don't know the song, look it up. But it's a song about a kid who all he wants to do is play catch with his dad. And dad's too busy. Dad's too busy being a success. Dad's too busy working. Dad's too busy being a human, doing, and not a human being. And as the song progresses, the end of the song, the father is now old and he's become a success. He doesn't have to prove himself anymore. And now he wants to spend time with his grown son. And his grown son says, love to see you, Dad, but got some things to do, and he's gone. So we learn what's modeled. Okay, so if you're 3, think about what you might be modeling in the low side of your type. And that's just sticking with the 3 side of things. That's just looking at the low side of the 3 itself. I want to point out the 3 in stress, okay? Because that's just low 3, but the 3 in stress starts to look like an unhealthy 9. And we see that laziness. We also call it inertia. That can happen. It's a numbing out. They just kind of check out. They can peace out into oblivion, as I like to say. And another thing I like to say about that with the 9 energy, when they peace out to such a degree, because we think of 9s as the peacemaker, right? The mediator and the peacemaker. When they peace out in a checking out kind of way, I say it's one of the most violent things the peacemaking 9 can do. So if you're a 3 under stress, beware. If you find yourself just kind of checked out, ambivalent, binging out on Netflix or whatever numbs you out, be aware as a parent if you're going down that road that means something is stressing you out in parenthood as a parent. What's pushing your buttons and sending your 3 into an unhealthy 9, right? So there's some lessons to learn there. And that said, 3s also have the opportunity to go to their security line, which is what we do, what any of us does when we want to attain something and we're in a healthier state. We go into what we call our security line. For the 3, that is 6. So that's the loyalist, okay? The loyalist is there for those that are in their group, right? So in this case, their family, the kids, right? They're loyal and present to the kids. They're paying attention to things. The other thing that the loyalist, the type 6, brings is a focus on safety and security. They're going to make sure that that the family has the things that they need for everybody to be safe and secure. Okay, and that can literally be like physical safety, providing for physical safety needs, but also emotional safety and just kind of being tapped in. So 3, in a healthy state of trying to meet healthy goals can start to look like a 6, and being focused on safety, security, loyalty to the family group, to the children in particular. They're incredibly fair people when 3s go to 6. They're protective, they're prepared, they're organized, they're great planners, practical people. These are practical people. And there's a consistency to their energy that makes them trustworthy. Your 6 parent is the go-to parent. I'm predating myself on this one, but if you've ever seen Father Knows Best, it's a really old TV series. You can probably find that one on YouTube also. But the father in that show, Father Knows Best, the trustworthy, the parent that you can go to with any problem, who's always going to be open-minded, fair, and supportive, and provide the safety net that the children can always come to that parent. Okay. So that's in the security line. 3s become 6. Let's see. Okay, so concerns that I have around the 6, not the 6, around the 3. The low side of 6 that can bring out the deceit, the energy of deceit in the 3. The idea that I must do because that's the only way I'll be loved. In order to be loved, I have to be loved for what I do, not for who I am. No one could possibly love me for who I am. So I got to do something that's really, really cool. That's really, really important. That's really, really special. And, I got to really win. I got to win big, and I got to do, because otherwise no one's going to care about me. As a parent, that would concern me if I were working with you, and you were getting tripped up in your unhealthy 3 behavior. The incredible thing about children is, and I hate to say this, while it may be true of some adults to only be able to love people for what they do, and that speaks to the low side of whoever they are, children aren't like that. They just love you because you're there and you're their parent, and that's all that they want. And on the thumbnail that I chose for this episode, it's a picture of a parent, a man with a toddler on his lap, and he's typing on his laptop. He's working, and missing the whole experience of. I mean, he's doing doing the parenting, right? He's taking care of the kid while he's working and completely not paying attention to the kid. And that image really spoke to me, because you can be there with your kid and totally not be there. Okay, and that would be that unhealthy 3. You're not connecting, you're not bonding. You've deceived yourself into thinking you're the best parent ever because you got the kid on your lap and you're there on the laptop, or whatever it is that you're doing to be the best performer you know how to do, how to be rather. You're not doing the job. You're not doing the job. You're deceiving yourself into thinking you're doing the job, but you are not doing the job. So that's the big concern that I have around 3s and parenting, unhealthy 3s. If you can identify that in yourselves, and the thing about 3s is they can talk themselves out of that if they're doing it. And I've worked with 3s who have tried to talk me out of, well, that's not what I'm doing. I'm just doing it right now, but that's not like what I do. That's not like how I parent. And when in fact it typically is. But they're so good at that deceit energy that they can sell themselves a bag of goods that just isn't true. Um, so so there's the work trap. There's always the work trap with 3s. They can be fantastic workaholics. They can get a tremendous amount of recognition for that, by the way, and they love that because that's accolades from the crowd, right? The performer likes to get applause. So so it becomes a trap. Um, and then it backfires because, as I said, the child, as they grow, learns and understands that you weren't really there. You were there, you were in the photographs, but you weren't really there. That can be a really hard thing for 3s to slow down and hear, and they have to slow down to hear it, because that's, that on to the next thing that the 3s do. It's like they try not to hear it, but if you can slow a 3 down enough to hear it, it can pierce their heart. So if you think you're doing this, or somebody's telling you that you're doing it, or if your child's constantly trying to get your attention away from something that doesn't matter to them, but it's this project that you think should matter to the whole wide world, including your kid, listen to your kid, please, and put down whatever it is that you're doing and figure out how to be with your child. So yeah, so the work trap, between work and parenting, or whatever work has to look like or might look like for you. So if you're a stay-at-home mom and it's all about, making the house look fantastic, but your child is asking you to have tea with her dolls, and you say, well, I have to do this, I have to finish this project, I have to do, whatever it is that has to be done, make the perfect cupcakes, whatever it is. Sit down and have the tea with the dolls. And you'll probably learn something from your child about what they really want from you and how they really feel about you and what love really is. It's not about what you do. It's about who you are and how you choose to be with your child. So yeah, being the best parent, being the most house proud, being the most career focused, and selling yourself a bag of goods that's really for the purpose of your family, that you're trying to be the best, whatever it is that you do at work, for the purpose of your family. Pay attention to that, if you're a 3, because there's a chance that you're taking it to an extreme. Threes can really be extreme kind of behaviors, energies, I should say. They're the parent that when Girl Scout cookie season comes around, They've got a plan, and we're going to put it on the internet. And I know a lot of these things are already on the internet, but we're going to put it on the internet. We're going to SEO the hell out of it. We're going to figure out how to have displays, and we're going to make charts, and we're going to have table set up. That we're going to win. We're going to win. You're going to win with the Girl Scout cookie. You know, that's the three: win at all costs, wearing the parent hat. Okay. And it's not about the Girl Scout cookies. It's whatever, team sports, whatever. If you find yourself going overboard, and here's the other piece of it, and your kid doesn't really care about winning, but you care a whole lot, and you're a 3, you got work to do. Okay. So those would be the things that I would be directing people to look at if I were working with them. I do work with some 3s, and have had some of these conversations with 3s. So yeah, I think that pretty well sums up my my word to the 3s. If you would like to work with me, again, mariamandarino.com. I'll have all that in the show notes. If you want to do Enneagram typing with me, of course, you can also register for that through the website. Again, my friend and colleague, Julie Jacobs, not here tonight, but Julie, if you're watching, hope you're feeling better soon. And Julie's website is windhorsecounseling.com, so I'll have that in the show notes as well. If you lead with 3, if you would be kind enough to drop a comment and share a little bit about your experience as a 3 and as a parent, and the lessons that you learned, the struggles maybe that you've encountered, and things that you've learned about yourself through leaning into the low side of type. And how you came through it, where the turning points were for you, where you could learn and redirect your Enneagram energy. Again, if you would like to be interviewed on an upcoming episode, we would totally love that, and kind of do some work in the narrative style on an upcoming episode. So please reach out if that's something that you would like to do. It really benefits you as well, because we can really uncover some things. I mean, we always think we understand. If we've done work on our type, we always think we've got it all together, until we get into one of these conversations where there's always, for as long as we live and breathe, there's always the chance for a growth point. Okay, so that's kind of our hope with doing this work, to invite people into discussions with me and Julie. So yeah, I didn't mention it before, but please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Your efforts have really helped the channel. Again, if you want to contribute, the Ko-fi link will be coffee link. I don't know how that's actually pronounced. I think it's supposed to be coffee, but different people say it different ways. So that link will also be in the show notes. And that should be it for this episode. So thank you all for being here. Going to be recording the episode for type 6 next by myself as well, because these things are usually done 2 at a time. So Julie's going to be passing on that one while her voice recovers. And so I'll see you next for the 6, and then Julie and I will regroup with you guys when we get to the 9. All right. Thanks again for being here. Take care and be well. Bye-bye.